This year has kind of been a watershed moment for kids and cell phones. Several school districts in Idaho followed the lead of Blaine County schools and implemented a no phones in the classroom policy. This year, it was Twin Falls, West Ada, Valley View, and the Emmett School District joining Blaine County, who did theirs last year, with some adding a little extra to their policy. They aren't allowed in school at all, even in the hallways for some, and with Emmett, they're not even allowed on the school bus. And it's worked well to improve grades and social skills at school, and so well, state leaders would like to see similar no cell phone policies go statewide. Joined by Governor Brad Little, Superintendent Debbie Critchfield signed the Phone-Free Learning Act today. It'll give school districts money if they adopt a cell phone policy by the end of this school year. How much money? Espen Shumpert has that answer and how it will work.
This year, several Idaho public school districts rolled out bans to keep cell phones out of the classrooms.
My initial thought was, why couldn't this wait one more year until after I graduate?
But hesitations wore off, and students and staff have mostly enjoyed putting their devices away.
It just changes hard, and I think it's easy to complain about something that gets taken away, but my grades are great. Like, a lot of my friends say that they have seen changes in their grades.
And now, some elected officials would like to see the cell phone policies go statewide.
We've heard a tremendous amount of positive feedback. Hey, I'm getting to know my friends better, or I have different friends, or I'm experimenting with clubs and hobbies that I might not always have done.
Thursday, Governor Brad Little and State Superintendent of Public Instruction, Debbie Critchfield, launched the Phone-Free Learning Act.
This is an official nudge of sorts, an invitation, asking and inviting our school districts to have these discussions in their communities so that a student going to one school in a district that has a policy, that we've got some uniformity on this issue.
And there's some money involved. Any school district that has adopted a cell phone policy by the end of this school year will receive $5,000.
It's the very tail end of the federal dollars that came into states during COVID. And so there's little pockets here and there that can't be utilized in other ways. That the money is expiring soon, and so the governor and I determined that this was a good use of that, a way to sweeten the conversations around getting these policies going.
School districts that already have a policy will get the money too.
One-time money, purchase the storage if you need it, or reimburse yourself for the storage that you've already purchased. But it's that little extra part, recognizing that for some, when a policy goes into place, there can be costs associated with it.
Critchfield says there's enough to cover all 190 school districts in Idaho, and it's up to the individual school districts what kind of policy they want to set.
It's not a one-size-fits-all. It's going to look different. That's intentional. It is something that we want to be locally driven and locally decided upon.
She hopes this creates more conversations about technology in Idaho schools.
There's research that will show that technology is changing the brains of our kids. It is interacting and changing the engagement, the person-to-person contact, the focus, the attention, the resiliency of our kids. This is an opportunity for us as a state to say, this is a priority issue. We care about our youth. We care about learning, but we also fundamentally care about our students and our kids.
The Department of Education says they plan to get the money to school districts as soon as possible, and that could go out in the next few weeks. Again, school districts will have until the end of the school year to introduce a policy that's going to work for them and their community and have time to get feedback from parents and students. Critchfield says she wants to give districts enough time to do that. Again, all of these policies look different in each of the school districts. We've talked about if phones are supposed to be in the locker or in the backpack or off the entire day. Emmett had that quirky policy that we've heard about of also not allowing them on the bus. They've since taken that out of their policy last month, so we're also seeing school districts revise them.
Oh, okay. Why did they say they took it out of the bus?
I haven't looked too much into it, so I'm not clear, but something to maybe follow is, are these also going to be changing and evolving? Okay, we talked about this before, like it's just up to the individual school in some districts. Right. But this new policy, or to get this $10,000, it has to be district-wide. $5,000, excuse me. Yep. It has to be district-wide. It has to be district-wide, and there's no rule on what that policy looks like. So districts can kind of work through that on their own. It doesn't have to be a uniformed policy across the whole state.
All right. Thank you very much, Aspen. We'll see how many jump on board.